Good morning, everyone. Welcome. I'm Gary Ezel, and I will be leading us through this service today. Welcome to UUCP's online worship service. In this time when we are physically distant, it is so good to be together. We need each other. Welcome to our worship. Welcome home. For those of you who are joining for the first time, the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Phoenix strives to be a spiritual community for our time, focused on diverse theological perspectives, radical inclusion, and knowing that issues of justice and equity shape everything we do. With a special awareness for those who have been historically marginalized, we welcome all, of every race, class, ethnicity, immigration status, sexual orientation, gender identity, religious background, mental and physical ability and disability. We welcome your whole self, your family, into our worship as we build a community of kindness, caring, courage, and hope. After the chalice lighting, we will open our service with the calling of the 7 directions, led by our Abuela, Dr. Sylvia Lemus Sharma. In doing this ritual of Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead, in the languages of Nahuatl, Spanish, and English, we not only acknowledge our predecessors on this land, but open ourselves to the wisdom that tradition provides. There will be a translation in the chat. I invite you to grab a chalice or a candle from your home as we recite our covenant and light our chalice together. This week, the Resendez Perez Allen family will light our chalice.
Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to share our strength and fellowship. Thus do we covenant.
We will now call the 7 directions.
Whistle 4 times. Con el permiso de las guardianes de estas tierras, la nación Pima y Salt River, estamos aquí para saludar al sol en la dirección del este con el concepto de la vida preciosa Quetzalcóatl y el concepto que cada día este sol nos saluda, nos da su calor. Es un orgullo de abrir esta dirección donde estamos celebrando la vida, y la vida es para vivir, es para morir, y si no, y respiramos cuando nacimos y terminamos de respirar cuando morimos. Y es un honor empezar esta ceremonia con estos pájaros que están volando. Y el ser humano, estamos aquí con todas las relaciones del desierto de Arizona, de los cactus y las medicinas. Y se puede escuchar el canto de los pájaros allá. Parecen coyotes, Ometeo, Ipanema. No yolo papa kimawa maho wewe ha atia yolo papa kimawa in shipedo teknin kanka hey 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 ho 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 hey 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 ho hey 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 ho. Blow the sound the eagle bone whistle 4 times. Ahora saludamos el rumbo del oeste, el rumbo de las mujeres que han muerto en el parto, que han dado ese gran sacrificio de su vida para la vida. Ese es el lugar de regeneración. Ese es el lugar que la Madre Tierra cambia su falda en la primavera. Y ese es el lugar de que estamos aquí para ofrecer este rezo al rumbo del oeste. Y Sosonali Ome.
Blessed be this gathering with the gifts of the West. Siwat Lampa, the place of women who have died in childbirth, the ultimate sacrifice to give life. The color is red, and the guardian is Shipe Totek, whose skin changes like that Mother Earth in springtime. This is the concept of human regeneration and change. It is about the capacity to choose forgiveness of oneself and to improve. Mother Earth changes each season. She wears a new skirt of green grass and brings new life in the spring. We too can change and choose the new good road of the evolving self.
Lama, north, the place of the elders who have gone on to the longer life. The direction of the north is especially honored today. This is the place of the ultimate transformation to the longer life. This is a place symbolized by black, which represents the unknown. This is a place of the great mystery. Humans will always live in the aspect of the unknown. The guardian of this place reminds us to have inner knowing, called Texcatlipoca in the Mexica traditions. The ancestors may be our grandmothers and grandfathers, abuelas y abuelos, bisabuelos y bisabuelas, and our great-great-grandmothers and great-great-grandfathers, tata abuelas y tata abuelos. We give thanks today for the memory of those who have gone before us, that give us our roots. We are grateful here that we are like a tree planted with strong roots, grateful for those footprints for us of the good road. Today, the ancestors share with us, and we honor their memory, their anima.
Huitzlampa, the south, the place of the children, the place of curiosity and the capacity to ask questions, the place of the first creation energy, the free will to choose, willpower, the direction of water. And the symbol of this direction is the hummingbird that flies in every direction, taking only what it needs.
Totopalolis. Iwikayot. Shaneke Tonatiu. Shaneke Nanamesli. Shaneke Titlali. Shaneke la preciosa luna. Metzli. Ahora rezamos para la unidad de sol que nos da luz con disciplina cada mañana, y al mediodía estamos en el cenit del sol y estamos tomando en el desierto de Arizona esos rayos de luz para unir con esa pluma de águila, este personaje. Y al cenit del sol damos las gracias para esa metáfora de la águila. Y voy a sonar ese silbato de águila 4 veces. Ipanemawani.
Iwil Koyot, the heart of light. This is the direction of the celestial jar, the infinite, the home of the sun, Tonatiuh, and the moon, Metli, and the stars, Sitlali, of the cosmos. The place of the 5th level of the rains. This is the direction up to the 13 levels. The 13th level is the harmony of twos, called Omeokan, the home of the female, called Omesihuat, and male, called Ometikutli.
Tonan Zintlali, Mother Earth. The earth provides for us with her horizontal waters. She gives us everything we need. She swims the celestial seas. We give thanks for what it means to be on the planet Earth.
Estamos aquí este día para saludar al rumbo del corazón del círculo. Y como seres en esta comunidad de Unitarian Universalists of Phoenix, we always come from our heart, standing on the side of love. And that is the vision, the cosmovision of this Mexica people as we celebrate the capacity to flower on Mother Earth, and we complete our cycle for the ultimate transformation. And everything is about cycles. So we're honoring that. We're here to evolve our capacity to have understanding of all my relations, from the littlest insect to the eagle, the great spirit in the metaphor of the eagle, and everything in between. We're here to stand on the side of love.
The heart of this Unitarian Universalist Dia de los Muertos is the energy and love for this community. Today, we welcome the ancestors, the families and the friends, the relatives who have made their transition. Our heart is with them, and their heart and spirit is with us. We remember them and we decorate them.
Thank you, Abuela Sylvia, for encouraging and guiding us in this tradition. Let me introduce the worship team that's on the call with us. Our lead minister is Reverend Christine Dance. Our speakers today are our Abuela Dr. Sylvia Lemus Sharma and our member Masaru Sakuma, who will share Bolivian traditions. Our Director of Children's Ministries, Katie Resendez. Glenn Lockwood and Benji Messer are our tech team today. And Brad Chapman is our chat chaplain. Our chat is open. You can chat with everyone or just to our panelists running the service. Please feel free to say hi to everyone. As always, we invite you to check in to UUCP on social media with the hashtag UUAnywhere. I have a few announcements about the life of our community. We will have our new member class next Saturday from 11 to 1:30 with lots of times for breaks. At the end of the session, participants will have the opportunity to become members of this congregation. We will be celebrating them on November 22nd. We are collecting jackets, boots, and gloves for our Navajo Nation student clothing drive, and you can help by either shopping or donating. Election season is here, and we know that there is a lot riding on it and a lot of anxieties related to it. Here are some things that can help. On Election Day, Tuesday, November 3rd, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Arizona time, UU ministers are gathering from around the country to offer a space for respite, positive energy, peace, and spiritual practice. You may join us at any time during the day to find a peaceful space for reflection, prayer, meditation, and spiritual practice. Different UU ministers will be leading every 15 minutes, and our Reverend Christine is at 5:15 to 5:30. And finally, while we don't expect all results to come in on election night, Reverend Christine will have an open Zoom room during the day on Wednesday, November 4th, to breathe and process. Feel free to stop by anytime, 10 a.m. to noon for open time, at noon for our weekly lunch with the minister, and 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. for some more open time. All of these announcements and more, and the associated Zoom links, can be found on our weekly online newsletter, Compass. You can sign up for Compass on our website, phoenixuu.org. And finally, we are collecting our offering virtually, just like our service. We ask you to be generous in your giving to support the mission of this beloved community. You can text UUCP to 73256. You can donate through the website, or you can send an old-fashioned check. For all that you give to our congregation, we are so grateful.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Gail Sendez, and I'm the Director of Children's Ministries here at UUC Phoenix. Today, in neighborhoods throughout Phoenix, people are celebrating. It is a day of bright colors and music and joy and stories and cooking and flowers. The Samsuchil that normally fills our sanctuary, those orange marigolds, is filling neighborhoods of Phoenix today. It is a day of celebration, and celebration that takes bravery. Bravery because today is the Day of the Dead, and we are afraid of death sometimes. And it makes sense because there's heartache and sadness and deep, deep sorrow and longing that comes with death. But we need to also celebrate, and we need to overcome some of our fears and some of our bad habits. I invite you into the chat. What are the words that you can think of, the phrases that we use to avoid saying death, dead, die, and died? What are those little cultural shortcuts that we've created so we don't have to say the things we're uncomfortable with? Passed on, passed away, lost. So many gone from us now. Or even with animals, we say put to sleep, gone to a better place, all to avoid saying death, dead, die, died. Because we're afraid of the unknown. And some of us, it's just being afraid of the heartache that comes with it and the longing and the loss. So today we celebrate, we share stories of our ancestors, be they the ones from generations and generations ago, or the ones who have just passed this year. We have to keep telling those stories. We have to remember the ways that they struggled, the ways that they succeeded, so that we could get to where we are right now. We have to help our children be proud of who walked before them. And children, we have to help the adults remember that the path they are on is not because of who they are alone, but because of the community of ancestors behind them. When we honor those ancestors, what we are saying is that our space in this world is valuable and it is worthy, because whether it be blood relations or the leaders who carved the path generations ago, be they not related to us at all, that they said that we deserved a place on this planet, that we deserve the space that we take up. And now, in pandemic times, we have another way to honor our ancestors. One should not lose it the way I just lost mine. When we put on our masks and our glasses get foggy and we breathe through those layers of cloth, we are telling our ancestors that their struggles, their joy, their sorrow, their successes were not in vain, that the space that they created here for us on this planet is valuable, and that we will continue working to protect ourselves, to make our way in our lives, and because we know that there are people who died for us to be here, and that those people wanted us to be powerful, and that we are so, so very loved.
It is the time when we share the joys and sorrows of our community. Being together, it is good to share, to support each other, and to connect. Remember that we are not alone. So please write in your chat any joys or sorrows that you want the community to know. Please put your name at the beginning so I know who it is. And if you want it to be private only to me and the panelists and not to be shared with everyone, please put the word private in it and I will hold it in my heart. While you are entering your joys and sorrows, let me mention a few in our world. We cannot have Dia de los Muertos and celebrate all of those who have died without mentioning the extremely large and increasing loss of life due to COVID-19. With extremely little being done to stop it, we're seeing the numbers increase into even more dangerous territory. And I know that we mourn for all of those who have died, and we mourn in advance for all of those who we know still will in this third wave. I also wanted to let you know of a concern in my life. Karen and my youngest son, Eric, who is 23, has a tumor on his thyroid that is unfortunately cancerous. There is good news in this, if there is good news when you have the word cancer, that the type that he has is very treatable. It is rarely life-threatening. The treatment for it is radiation to shrink the tumor, and then there will be a surgery to remove the tumor and part or all of the thyroid, probably sometime next year. I wanted you to know that I'll be heading to Orlando, where he is, in about a week and a half, to be there with him for a few days. And I want to thank you in advance for your care and concern. While I also am still your minister and navigating all of your life's challenges with you as well. So let us turn to the joys and sorrows of our community. From Walt D. Joy, my neighbor, is a good friend, even though we're opposites politically. Good for you, Walt. Good for you. We need as much community. We have a concern from Bill Snowden. Please hold me in your prayers on Friday when I go in for an aneurysm repair. Bill, you will be in our hearts and on our minds. Walt also says a sorrow on Thursday. It's been 8 years since Tim died. A sorrow for Des Cooper and the Cooper family on the death of her father, Willie Curtis Cooper. I'll give a minute to see if there are any other ones. Let me just look through and see if I had any others. Okay. So oh, good. Here's one to end us on. That's terrific. Benji Messer says, a joy. I'm pulling my brass band together to play at the polls on Tuesday. Oh, the vision of that, Benji, and thinking of you and your band playing and bringing joy and peace. I appreciate that. Audrey Atherton says, prayers and positive thoughts as I deal with the death of my mom. And I don't know who this is, but Mary Wilbur says, one of the kindest priests I have ever known died this past week at 95. Father Donahue was one of the influences of my childhood. So I want to invite you to a time of prayer and meditation. And you know, y'all, I always say this, but this week, I know you need it. So I want you to really, in your seat today, I want you to settle in. I want you to lower your shoulders, pull them back a little bit. Feel yourself grounded on your floor with your feet, with your legs, with your back. I want you to take some breaths with me. Let's breathe in through our nose and then do some loud exhales through our mouth. Let's do 4 of them together, okay? I want to picture you there in your homes doing this. Ready? Breathe in. You know, people have talked about having a plan to vote, and that is so important. And I hope that if you all haven't voted, that you have a plan, where you're going to go, what time, how are you getting there, all of those things. But I want you to have a plan otherwise too. I want you to have a plan for caring for yourself. I want you to think of something that you can do every day this week. I want you to have a plan of something that you can do on Tuesday, something else you can do on Wednesday that feels special and caring for yourself. We are going through, and our bodies and our minds are going through more than I know we can imagine. The stress of the pandemic, the isolation, of the election, of the turmoil, it takes a toll. And we have to be very intentional of our spiritual practices, our care for ourselves, our connecting with one another. And we need to remember, like Katie said, our ancestors who got us to this point and what they got through to get us here. And remember our resilience and our strength. I want you to take a moment. I'll have about a minute of silence as you remember your ancestors and we put in place how we can care for ourselves this week using what they taught us. I end with a prayer by the Reverend Christine Robinson. Spirit of life, whom we know best in our own loving and being loved, hold us as we remember those we have loved and those who have loved us and shaped us. May our gratitude sparkle in our lives. May our tears lubricate our souls. Help us to know that we are not alone in our grieving and our struggles, and help us also to come to a peaceful place in which we can take what we have learned from those who have gone before us and into our own lives. Remind us that we too are mortal, and that the only enduring legacy we leave is the love that shines through our lives. Amen. Blessed be, and Ashe.
My wife and I moved to Arizona 21 years ago when I was 48. Since then, our children have married and had babies, and both of my parents have died. My father outlived my mother by 13 years, which is not at all what they expected, and certainly not what he wanted. So it goes. Now I am 69, feeling some of the diminishments of age, and aware sometimes of mortality tapping me on the shoulder, asking for some attention. I do my best to ignore him, but he's there. I find myself becoming more and more like my father, and like him and my grandfather, simply enjoy sitting outside, enjoying the air of the cool morning. Today, the breeze flows around, past, and easily into me. The wind, the rustle of palm, the dance of aspen, these will persist. Air will ever flow over and around, but eventually less and less into me, until I too have become past, present only in the breeze that my children will feel on their faces. So it goes. Let us reflect now on the images of those who have passed on before us and feel again the love that we shared.
Oh, how beautiful. How beautiful to see all of your beloveds, to see who is dear to you. We bring all of our ancestors into this space with us. It is tradition to say their names and then say the words presente. So let us honor all of those we saw in the slides and all of those who are on our hearts and in our minds and part of us today. We celebrate you all. Please join me in saying presente with me several times, acknowledging and feeling deep inside us that they are here with us. Presente. 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 Presente.
Also known as the heart of South America because of its central location, Bolivia features a wide variety of terrains and climates, with the Andean highlands in the west and the Amazon forest in the east. The Feast of Todos Santos, or All Saints, is celebrated across the country, predominantly in the Central Valleys and Western Andes. It is a syncretic ritual blending both Catholic and indigenous traditions. According to the popular belief, the souls of those who have passed away visit their living relatives every 1st of November, arriving at noon and staying for 24 hours. Families gather together to honor the visitors, particularly during the first 3 years after a relative's passing. Although the ritual protocols can vary according to the location and social status of the celebrants, the building of altars, denominated mesas, lies at the core of the tradition. The mesas are built at home and also commonly taken to the cemeteries to farewell the dead before they leave on the 2nd of November. The mesas include the food and beverages that were liked by the deceased relative. They also include many different baked goods and other elements with symbolic significance. The Tanta Wawas, or Children of Bread, represent the souls that visit. The Bizcochuelos, a type of cake similar to angel food cake, represent their graves. The ladder helps with the soul's transition between realms. The horse, or sometimes the llama, helps them carry the food that was prepared for them. The sugar cane serves as their walking stick. It is the custom to pray before consuming the food from these altars, as well as to invite other people to offer prayers. The reciris are devout people and children who go around the mesas offering prayers in exchange for food. Music takes a central role in the celebration. Musicians go around the graves singing songs also in exchange for food. Large musical ensembles also participate, cheering the congregants while they dance, drink, and remember their relatives. Some prefer mariachi and brass bands, which denote a higher social status. Others stick to native wooden flutes. For the indigenous communities, Todos Santos marks the beginning of rains and the sowing season. The ancestors are asked to help bring the rain and help with the crops for a plentiful harvest. The alma pinquillo is a particular type of flute, somewhat like a recorder, meant to be played only during Todos Santos. Like many other indigenous flutes, it is played in large ensembles denominated troops, which include at least 3 different instrument sizes at distances of fifths and octaves. An alma pinquillo trub is designed to produce a pulsating type of sound that results from 2 conflicting frequencies, just slightly out of tune with each other. In an alma pinquillo trub, the conflicting frequencies are produced by counterpart instruments that vary slightly in length. This type of pulsating aesthetic is characteristic of several different Andean flutes, and it's achieved through different organologic techniques. The Aymara word tara is used to describe the pulsating sounds, in opposition to the word kiwa, which means dry, single, or twisted. Tara is related to the concepts of duality and fertility. The tara instruments are said to call the rain and can only be played during the rainy season.
And good morning. With the permission of the guardians of these lands, the nation of the Pima Salt River people, where our congregation is located, I'm speaking from my patio in my personal home. And I'm honored to share a little bit about why the Mexican indigenous people honored the dead. So Dia de los Muertos is a Mexican indigenous tradition. It is believed for over thousands of years that if we did not acknowledge the departed one's memory, then they're gone forever. So with the sacred smoke and the eagle feathers here, this beautiful sunshine today, we are acknowledging that it is important to decorate our dead because it eases the grief surrounding their loss. But it is a celebration of life and death, and family and fun. Dia de los Muertos does not last one day. Rather, it lasts several days. In the ancient times, it lasts 40 days, and it was held in the month of August. But now we celebrate it with the Catholic overlay on All Souls Day and All Saints Day. So the Dia de los Muertos tradition is to build decorated altars at our homes. We use papel picado, the soft tissue paper, in rectangles with cutouts. And the tables are covered into altars with 4 levels. The altar is draped with colorful Mexican serapes and culture items. Especially though, we put the framed person's photo of the person who passed on. And we acknowledge all the photos that were brought in and sent into our art ceremony today. It is traditional to cook the favorite foods the deceased person may have enjoyed. And it is also important to put the drinks that they may have enjoyed. Even if it's a can of beer or tequila, we mainly use hot chocolate, and especially a glass of water, because they're very thirsty for making their journey here home to be with us. This is a time for eating, feasting, and celebrating life and having fun for the living. This is a time, it is sacred time for them to visit. And in Mexico, people would traditionally be given permission to go to the cemeteries, and they could be there all night partying and cleaning. And we have ordinances here where we can't do that. But it is not about images of vampires, blood and guts, and the macabre, and it for sure is not about Halloween. So, and the wind agrees. So we're here to breathe our first breath of air, and when we die, we breathe our last breath of air. So essential Mexican indigenous rituals include burning the sacred copal, incense, in burners called popush gomez in Nahuatl, and we use lots of candles and light them and place marigold flowers. And the Mexican people love their flowers. We say we're here to flower, but we especially use the marigold flower. And why do we use the marigold flower is the question. It's because it has a very pungent scent, and that scent will attract the spirit to the home and the altar. So in addition to the marigold flowers, the Mexican people go to their bakeries. We have lots of bakeries here in Phoenix that make pan de muerto, which is a bull, and they make the shape in the four directions of bones. We have an expression here that the earth is our mother, and we leave our bones here on Mother Earth. Another important concept is the monarch butterfly. The monarch butterfly comes from Michoacan, where my father's from. And it comes all the way from Canada, goes through Minnesota, and it flies through Arizona, and it goes all the way south. And it goes south to die. But the monarch butterfly is a symbol of transformation for the Mexica people. And artists who do altars for the cities and museums, they will often incorporate the monarch butterfly. We also put sugar skulls and chocolate skulls, called in Spanish calacas. So I'd like to finish this homily with a beautiful poem by our poet leader. His name was Nezahualcóyotl. Not forever on the earth. Is it true we live on the earth? Not forever on the earth. Only a little while here. Only a little while here. Even though it is made of jade, it can be broken. Even though it is made of gold, it can be worn out. Even though it is made of beautiful quetzal feathers, they tear. Not forever on the earth. Only a little while here. Only a little while here. I am here to learn to love the human being. Tlazohcamante. Blessings of harmony.
Thank you, Abuela Sylvia and Masaru, and everyone who contributed to today's wonderful service. After the service, we will meet in coffee hour in a large group and then in smaller groups. Those rooms are posted in the chat and will be on the final slide. Visitors, we hope you'll join us. We are a friendly bunch. There is also a coffee hour just for our kiddos and their families. And as a reminder, please check in on each other. I encourage you to listen to the postlude, which is a recording of Javier Quijas Shayur, a flute maker and performer who lives right here in Phoenix. Quijas may be the world's foremost authority on traditional Mayan and Mexica instruments. And as we have been reminded, life is a series of cycles, but also progression, always repeating, always changing, sometimes forward, sometimes back, sometimes in new directions. It's been quite a time. It's going to be quite a week. Please check on each other, take care of each other and yourselves. Amen. Blessed be. Ashe. Amateo. Go in peace, go in love. See you on the other side.
This is the Mayan clay ocarina, pacale.